Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today I am going to do one of my favorite videos in a long time, and I say that every now and then, but not very often. And so basically what I'm going to show you guys is how to create your own attack box, just like Hack the Box, just like Try Hack Me, in your browser that you can access anywhere in the world. So the reason it looks like this, the reason it looks so small, is because as you can see, I have my phone here. I can control it from my phone. I can control it from any device in the world. I can control it wherever I want. And the best part about it is I can control it and it's actually hosted at my house. So let's go ahead and get into it and how do we do this, right? So first thing, this is more of a demonstration. I wouldn't normally control this from my phone unless I wanted to really sit here and expand it. You can see I just changed it to horizontal. So I wouldn't sit here typically on my phone, but I would if there was something I needed. If there was, because I have this running at my house, I can have it running and then at any point in time, connect to it and start running my attack. So the nice thing is I can do this from my phone. I can do this from a laptop. I can do this from wherever. And the best part is I don't even have to basically have anything set up prior. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's figure out how we did this. And we're going to talk about Exegol here. Exegol, I think that's how you pronounce it. So before we get too carried away, I do want to point out this is by no means a sponsored stream. And I disconnected, by the way, from my phone because I want to show you guys what it looks like. I just wanted to show you how that works. So this is by no means a sponsored stream, but this is, I do want to point out that they did give me access to this for a year for free. So I always point out when someone does this, and I did tell them I'm going to do a YouTube video on it, and I told them I'm going to make it, oh, I might have messed up the credentials. Hold on. I did tell them I'm going to make a YouTube video on it, and they were open to it. Oh, there's a space on the end there. I had a space. All right. So let's go ahead and hop into it. So a couple of things. There's two main components of this. There's the actual virtual desktop, which you can do multiple ways. If you don't know, you can use VNC, and you can see VNC's right up there in the header, or in the URL, excuse me. I don't know why I said header. But you can use VNC, and you can actually present yourself your own virtual desktop quite easily at home. I'm going to show you how to take it a step further and be able to access it anywhere in the world. And it's one of my favorite things to do because I'm going to actually start using Exegol on a lot of the Hack the Box and Try Hack Me videos and stuff like that. So you guys can see how nice it is and how easy it is. And again, I'm not sponsored by them. They gave me a free trial. I have some things I really like about it. The very first thing I like about it is the amount of work that they do for me. And we're going to talk about that as well. So going forward, this is the Exegol box. Now, one thing I'll say is the Exegol box, if you look at applications, there's the GUI applications, and the rest is pretty much command line. So if you're not very good at command line, this probably isn't for you. I think it's really good. Here is a list of tools that are on the box. This is actually all documentation from their website, but you can see here's all the tools that are on the box. All right, so 412 because the first line wasn't one. And all of these are on the box, right? The box I'm using. So we're going to pull up their documentation. One thing I'm going to say is if you're wondering how I'm running this, it's actually in a Docker container. So I'm going to walk you through all of the process I did, how I got here. And then at the end, we're going to walk through how I got it to connect anywhere in the world. So one thing I want to point out is Task Manager. If you run a normal, like normal person's virtual machine, you're going to run what? Minimum 2 gigs of RAM. Here, if you look at my memory, I'm running 35%, and that's with this running. Keep in mind, browser, 26 different things are open. That's actually accurate. I have a ton of tabs open and things. So that's where most of my memory is going. I'm not even running very much memory for the actual attack box. So think about that. If you're used to running like really bulky VMs and like Kali and all that stuff, and Kali has a Docker image as well, I recommend Docker regardless. But we're going to go ahead and look at Exegol because I actually did the kind of the pseudo math in my head. And one thing that I found was I actually was sitting there going, let me think of how they did this. How did they make it? How did they do that? Right. And I thought about it, and I actually figured out, like, in my head, how I could make the same thing. And then I thought, wow, that'd be kind of cool. And then I thought, but they do it for me, so why would I? Right? They did the work for me, so why would I do it? And so, funny enough, I actually looked at how much work it would take to do this for myself, and I thought, I'd rather just use theirs. And that's not me selling you on the product. It's just funny that I'm like most hackers, I'm lazy at certain points. And if you've never used Docker, you can set Docker with a whole bunch of instructions. So I could use like a Debian version of Linux and all these instructions for the container and all that stuff, and get it every tweak the way I want it and all that stuff, and then do the same thing they're doing here, setting up VNC and all that stuff. But by the time I do that, this is actually free. So why would I? So Exegol is free. And so funny enough, Exegol is free. And not only is it free, but they have a free tier, and then they have a paid tier. So they gave me a version of the paid tier. So we're going to go through them first and talk about what the paid tier is versus the free tier, and then the install and all that stuff, right? So let me look at the subscriptions here. Okay, so, and there's their subscriptions. So we'll say Exegol subscription. And I got a new mic finally. So hopefully you guys hopefully it helps, because I always get the comment of that the mic I have is actually too quiet. So I wanted to get a new mic for you guys, and hopefully this helps. So, all right. So let me see here. Licenses. I'm trying to find, I'm trying to find the different tiers and kind of, here we go, tiers, pricing. There we go. Okay. So here is the different tiers. So if you're wondering what you get for community for $0 a month, you get access to the free images. You get the pre-built. This is the full image. Okay. Pre-built and tested equivalent to a past full image. So you'll see they have all kinds of images. The full image you'll get is the previous one, I believe. Then you get the local images, community support. You can't use it for commercial use, right? That's the big case. For me, I am going to use it for commercial use. So for me, it made sense to go with the Pro anyway. But even then, it's $30 a month. That's like nothing for me to maintain a box, right? It doesn't really matter. But really, that's the main thing. Learning Center, it's not out yet, so I don't know yet. We can vote on new features. I haven't done that, so I can't say if that works. But I do get all the images. I really like having all the images. They have an OSINT image, a web image, a light image, all that stuff, and we'll talk about that. But I did want to show you guys the price tiers. I don't have a code or anything. I'm not sponsored by them in any way, so you're going to have to pay the $30. I don't have a special code. But what we're going to do is go through the first install, because I actually did this with zero knowledge. I've never used this. Someone in Discord said, hey, I always use Exegol for all my stuff. And I said, let me check it out. Checked it out, thought, wow, that's actually really nice. So what I'm going to do is just show you exactly what I did. Went through. And if you guys, one thing I want to point out too with Exegol that I really liked, I don't love Terminator. So this is Terminator. That's what they have. I don't love Terminator. I don't like Terminator. I'm one of the few people that don't. But yo, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys. One thing I gotta say is, throughout the years, the support I've had for this channel has been amazing. I know I can't dedicate as much time as I'd like to it, but I do want to point out, guys, the Patreon and the Discord in the link below are huge assets for you guys. The Discord has a ton of like-minded folks. The Patreon, I try to upload weekly. We have extra things like one-on-ones, resume reviews, interviews, mock interviews, things like that. They're definitely resources for you guys. So if you guys want to support the channel, if you guys want to help in any way, please check those out. I don't take sponsorships really at all. Actually, I don't know that I ever have. So with that said, it's the only way to support me. So I do really appreciate you guys. Don't feel obligated to do it. Just, I forget to mention it in every video, so I try to throw something in here now. I'm going to try to keep doing this so that you guys are aware of them. Also, please hit that like button and that sub button. It's the only way to continue the channel for growth, and hopefully we can keep getting things out there for you guys and hopefully keep educating everybody. So thanks, guys. One thing I really like about it is if you look, again, I don't like Terminator, so if you're like me and you don't like Terminator, I apologize, but that's what they have on here. But if I do like this, I don't know what LSASI is, but as far as I don't know if this is a previous command they ran or whatever, but if you look, you can actually type in Go Buster, for instance, and I type in Go Buster and it actually finishes the syntax for me. So that's really nice. That's something that's worth its weight in gold, because you don't have to remember every command. And so that's actually really cool. I've never had a pre-built image that does that for me. So pretty cool to see. I'm sure a lot of you have probably worked in environments that have that. I'm pretty old school. I don't really like Terminator and all that stuff. I like having different terminals and just doing it myself. I don't know why. I have no idea why. If someone was like, but this is so useful, I believe you. I'm like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, I just like the way I do it. But that's just me. So one thing is exactly what did I walk through and how did I get through it? We're going to go through everything that I actually did and the first install. So first thing, you go here and it says first install, right? So you go here and it says you have to install two things, the Python wrapper, the brains, and then the image. So you can actually select Linux, Mac, or Windows. I actually did this on purpose. So I was going to install it on my Linux machine. And then I read right here, where did I read it? Somewhere that says that Windows is harder to install. And I thought, well, I run a Windows machine every day. I might as well go through the harder install so that I can walk you guys through how I did it and some of the snafus I ran into, because there were some. So first things first, you have to have Windows 10 or 11. I'm assuming most of you do. You have to have WSL on. So I actually, funny enough, I mentioned Exegol in the Discord and someone said, hey, I actually just use WSL. Well, good news, this actually uses WSL. So funny enough, you have to have it installed anyway. You guys know, or if you guys didn't know, I run Ubuntu on my Windows box as well. So I have Ubuntu running underneath here. And then Docker Desktop, I have Docker Desktop running as well. So you have to have WSL and Docker Desktop. Docker Desktop is just a application you install. Very, very simple. WSL, very easy to turn on in Windows, especially nowadays. You can install any Linux operating system that they have on there. I just stuck with Ubuntu. Use whatever you want. So you can see, once you have that, you just do right here, win-git install. And keep in mind, I did this in the Docker install, or the WSL. So I went into my Ubuntu machine. So I just went in here, went to Ubuntu, typed Ubuntu, and you can see I am in my Ubuntu machine, right? Went in here and I did win-git install ID, win-git install ID, even though Python, I believe, was already installed. Excuse me. And then you can see I didn't have to do this. You guys might have to do this, but I went in, or it has you go in and enable integrations with default WSL distro for Docker. When I did my Docker, and I can actually show you guys that real quick. So when I did my Docker setup, it actually asked me when I installed it if I want to integrate directly with my WSL. I said yes, and it did it for me, so I didn't have to deal with it. Let me see if Docker, there we go. Okay, so you can see if you go to settings and go in here, resources, you can see it actually asks you to WSL. It asks you enable integration Ubuntu. It already asked, or it already had that. I didn't have to do that. So if you have to do it, go in there and enable it. Pretty easy, right? And then it says you may want to disable Windows Defender during install. Blah, blah, blah. As Exegol will download pre-built remote shells. I didn't have any issues here. I actually was going to add this as a permanent exclusion, but I didn't have any issue. I thought, let me run it, see what happens, and then if we run into issues, we'll do it. I didn't have any issues. Maybe you guys do. If you do, it's very easy. You go into Defender, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it here. And I know this might be boring for some people, but I'm just making sure. Okay, you go into Defender, you go into Virus and Threat Protection, okay, and then you go down, and I will show it to you guys. I'm just making sure that, where is it here? There we go. All right. Okay, so it's got the option for scans. All right, if I can find it here. Virus and threat protection. There we go. Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't find that. For some reason, I couldn't find the setting. It was literally in front of me. So in here, under virus and threat protection, you just go to settings. And then down here at the bottom, you'll add an exclusion. And it popped up. I don't know if you guys could see it. I didn't click permissions. But it'll ask you what folder you want to exclude. Very easy. You just put these folders. So pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. I didn't run into any issues here. The issues I ran into were twofold. One thing I recommend is download and install, because I did not do it in this order. Install Docker first. The reason is you have to restart your computer after you install Docker. I was already deep into this before. I was like, crap, I have to restart. It became a pain in the butt, whatever. Not anyone's fault. But so download and install Docker first, then go in here, do this, go in here and use this. Didn't have any issues with this. Didn't have any issues with this. One thing I will say is one thing you're going to have to do. You cannot run Exegol as root. If you do, when you go to actually start your image, it will not allow you to. This is a security feature. Make sure you create a new user on your Ubuntu box or whatever box you're doing. So on this box, create a new user. And when you create a new user, make sure that new user is not the root user, right? Then you can actually go through and you can add them to the sudoers group and stuff like that. Like it's fine. You just can't use the root user. So then once you do the pip x install, very easy. It installs it right away. Super simple. Then you add this to your WSL. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. Then once you get this all set, it just sets the variables. You go in here and you Exegol activate. Once you activate it, it'll ask you to log in typically, and you just follow this. You go to the one-time pad, log in, very easy. Image install, then you say Exegol install. Now, I will tell you this whole thing takes every step maybe an hour and a half. I mean, very easy. And the longest part is just installing Docker. Once you click Exegol install, it just downloads and does everything. Then it guides you through selecting an image. This is where you find those images. And if I can find the image, here's the image. Whoops, there we go. So the free image, right? The free image is this one and these ones. Okay, so here we go. So here's the different images that you get. The free one is the free one, right? That's fine. These are the ones you get for if you have the pro version, which is, you can see you get an OSINT one, which is for OSINT investigations. You get a web one, which is for web investigations, the full, the light, Active Directory, etc. And then you get all the versions of them. And you can see you get all the different tool lists for them. So if I click on one of these, it's a tool list of each one. The tool list I showed you was the full one, so it was this one. But this is a tool list of all the different versions. So the reason it gives you a tool list, I'm actually really glad it gave you a tool list, because if you go on here and look, there is no like my apps or whatever, you can search for an app, right? You can go through all this, but it's very, very difficult to do this. So it is very, 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 it's not like your Kali Linux where you're going to go applications and like select down here and then like that. Most of them are command line, which is exactly what it needs to be. I love that. I love command line. So for me, this was perfect. Okay. So now once you have it installed, you actually just go and say, hey, start the container. And I showed you guys, and I'll show you guys again. This is what that container looks like. So you can see, actually, if we can walk through it real quick, you can see I typed Exegol. I wanted all the commands, and then I typed right here, Exegol info, and it shows that I have this one available image because I already downloaded this image. And then you can see here, I said Exegol start. I named it Stuffy. I did a full, which is the name of the image, desktop config. I said I want it to be HTTP 127.0.0.1.6901. What this means is I want it to be served on the local host on port 6901. Within a couple of minutes, it's up. They give you the root account and the password. Obviously, I'm showing you guys the password because I'm just going to tear this down as soon as it's done and spin up a new one if I need it. And then you can see one thing is you see it says console GUI. The GUI is off because it's served right here. The remote desktop is served right here. So that is what makes it great. So now all you do is go here and you log in with those root credentials they give you, and boom, you have a desktop. Already, this is better than any VMs. Now, you might ask why, because you might say that was kind of complex. It really wasn't, because once you do that, now guess what? If I want to, let's say I'm done with this, because this is the thing I see as a mistake that a lot of new cyber folks do, and that is they think Kali Linux and all these things are designed as daily drivers, and what they're actually designed is the same thing this is designed for, to use during an engagement and then destroy it afterwards. That's what it's used for. It's used to spin up every single time, a fresh install. So what they're saying here, or what this is right here. If I want to remove this, you can go up here and look at it. I can actually go up and look at, where was it? I didn't do it in this session, I don't think, I guess, but one of the sessions I actually just removed it. You can just type, you can see right here, just remove. I can just type Exegol remove and the name of my container, which is Stuffy, and it will just delete the whole thing. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Now, when I want a new one, when I want another attack box, I just spin it back up. Same command, Exegol start Stuffy. I can do the same thing, and it starts a totally new one up. And then I'll get the root and this. Perfect, easy day. Now all I have to do is before I travel, I spin up a VM every time before a container here, spin it up. I go off on my merry way, and I can connect to it anywhere in the world. Now, you might say, how do I connect to it anywhere in the world if it's only being served on the local host? That brings me to part 2, which is Tailscale. If you guys haven't used Tailscale before, again, I'm not sponsored by them. They didn't give me anything free. I don't even have anything from them. I actually use their free tier, I believe. But Tailscale, let me find the website here, is actually even easier to use. So Tailscale, I'm not going to show you my dashboard because it'll give away some stuff, but you can go into Tailscale and log in, and when you do, Tailscale will it's actually a VPN that allows you to have multiple devices, and all your devices are on their own private network. The reason this is so great, if I'm anywhere in the world and I'm already on my own private network with my local host here, my computer here, I can access this right here, right? Well, Tailscale has a feature, and that feature is really nice. And that feature is actually called, if I can find the exact name of it, because sometimes I get it wrong. Give me one sec. So it's called Serve, Tailscale Serve. So what that is I can use Tailscale Serve, and it actually serves this port on whatever device I'm talking about, and it'll actually serve it up onto a website for me. So I can actually go to that website, and it serves it for me. And you have to be on the network. Well, that means it's not accessible unless you're on my quote unquote VPN, which is just my devices. So I'll show you what I mean. So if I go on here, if you look, I did Tailscale Serve, right? And then look at this. Here is the website. You can only access this if you're on my little quote unquote network, right? Well, if you go down here and look, Tailscale's right here, and it says connected. So that means I'm on my private network. Well, this is the local host. Look at that. We are actually on the same thing. So I can type in root, then the credentials, and then I can log in. So I can log into this private machine or this private container anywhere in the world. So why is this so good? Well, let me explain it to you if you guys haven't caught on already. The reason this is so good is because from anywhere in the world with minimal to no resources, I can leave my computer running, right? I have an UPS, so the power's going out. It's not going to affect anything. I can leave my computer running. I can travel the world. I can not only access my computer, but I can access the attack box that I'm going to be using for everything. So let's say I'm doing an engagement and I decide, hey, I have to travel for something. I don't have to stop the engagement or take a VM and copy it over or do anything. I can literally leave this going. This is just a container. It's using minimal resources. It's way faster than most VMs, and it runs really well. So far, what I've seen, I have not gotten deep into it, but I really like the image they're using. And I can do that from anywhere in the world and with basically no setup. So like right now, I can click on my phone, I can go on my phone, and I can access that exact thing. The other best part about this is with Tailscale, you can actually set up which one's your exit node. And so meaning you can have all your devices route back to your home and then exit to the internet. That's really nice because if you're like me and if you're worried about privacy and things like that, nobody knows I'm traveling. I'm actually accessing my home network. Everything's going through the home network as if I'm just normal, but I'm actually traveling around. I really like the privacy aspect of that, but this might sound like an ad because I'm like boasting about these two things, but the reality is they've just made my workflow so much simpler. And I want to give you guys like the kind of key components, if you will, like Exegol here, really nice because you can do this and you can have your own private attack box. You can have all these different features, and we're going to use Exegol in a lot of my videos, so you'll have plenty of chances to see more about it. I can do a full review if you guys want. Leave a comment if you want for a full review, but I wanted to give you guys this to let you guys see the value you can get from this and how you can take Exegol, Tailscale, put them together, and now all of a sudden you have a really, really useful attack box anywhere you want in the world, and you don't have to rely on hack the box. Especially sometimes you'll say like they're laggy, you can just connect to the VPN and be totally fine. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Tell me if you guys are using this, if you're using something else, if you guys like the concept of being able to access it anywhere in the world, if you like the fact that you can shut it down, stand it up, delete it, get a new one, all that stuff, because that's some of my favorite features. So let me know what you guys think. Hope this helps, and hope you guys have a great day.